Hello and welcome to the Bin Day channel. We are at Cave Direct Beer Merchants. We are in the biggest independent beer warehouse in the UK. It's a cathedral of beer. So Ben, what's happening here?
So essentially we're a beer distributor and also a consumer site as well. So Cave Direct is our distributor side and Beer Merchants is our kind of consumer website, online only. And then we also have a tap room as well in Hackney Wick. Essentially this business kind of started in like 1979 just as a little small bottle shop. Obviously they started bringing over a lot of continental beers from Germany and Belgium as well. So after that, kind of a lot more people wanted to buy those specific beers.
Yeah, it seems to have taken off a bit.
Yeah, so ever since then, like, there's been more demand for beer in the country, especially stuff that's been imported. So obviously, as Cave Direct, we import from about 17 different countries, you know, Germany, Belgium, Norway, obviously with Lervig. And then obviously, we kind of import it to this warehouse in Kent. After that, we kind of pretty much ship it to the rest of the UK. So we work with a lot of independent bottle shops and bars, a lot of pubcos, like your Green Kings and all this kind of stuff. So essentially we import beer for this country from all over, essentially.
So anyone who's got pretensions of getting their beers into all the bottle shops, the off licenses and the pubs,
Pretty
they
much,
need a cave or they need a beer merchants, right?
So essentially, like, obviously with Cave Direct, we work with 4 different depots. So obviously we've got one in Manchester, we've got obviously this one in Kent, we've got one in Newcastle, we've got one in Bristol as well. After that, it's kind of like we've got a sales team that kind of puts the beers into the pubs. So they'll go around, speak to little bottle shops and bars, and they'll literally sell them the beer. So you'll take a simple keg of House Party from Lervig, and they'll make sure that that beer goes on into that pub at the right price, so it goes out to the customers in the best condition possible.
So what does it take, Ben, for someone like us or anyone to get onto these shelves?
I say pretty much make good beer. I mean, we kind of we have like obviously in-house beer experts. That kind of we get to try a lot of new beer. Obviously, some new breweries will send us some samples and stuff like that. But essentially, it's like it kind of might be word of mouth. There might be a new brewery out there. It might be stuff that breweries have been transferred. Obviously, like football, they might transfer the head brewer over to a different one. Like for example, Burning Sky, they had head brewer went to Beak, so that's why they're still making amazing beer.
What is it? I mean, there's so many beers here, right? And they look amazing, and they're all amazing. What is it you think that grabs people's attention? What shifts beers?
I mean, it literally is people's curiosity, I think, at the moment, especially the craft beer market. They've literally, there's been so many new breweries over the last 18 months, maybe even 2 years, that have come out of like literally nowhere. And people want to try something new, especially the rotational kind of style in beer. You know, we've got breweries that are making stuff with individual hops now, single hop IPAs, so much more different than what they have done when you used to do like a single hop smash beer, essentially. Yeah. It's completely different now.
But what makes one stand out though? Because they kind of all stand out in their own way, but if everyone stands out, then kind of no one's standing out.
Well,
right?
I mean, obviously, yeah, design is a big thing. Obviously, we work with a lot of breweries that have such a style in terms of their beer. Obviously, they use a single like strain of yeast or something like that, but they'll also apply the little details to their design. Like you look at something like Burning Sky, Beak, Daya, for example, they have an in-house designer, which is like kind of a creative director. People are literally putting as much effort into design as well as putting the effort into the beer at the same time.
And then how important is it, the story that goes with that then?
I mean, story is key. Obviously, like for example with shuffleboard, it is a story how your love for shuffleboard is become part of this beer. It wouldn't be there without that story. So each individual beer will have its own individual story, which is always something will either sell a beer or it won't. But essentially, people want those little nuances in beer, whether it's talking about hop or talking about a story about playing shuffleboard 5 years ago or something like that.
Nice. In terms of size, right? Does size matter when it comes to the breweries you'll work with?
Not really, no. Like we work with, you know, obviously big, massive companies like Kona, for example, or Polana. They churn out like thousands of hectolitres per year. Obviously, we work with smaller breweries that might only brew on a 2-barrel kit. Some like for example Beak, they're only brewing on a 10-barrel kit. Right. So it's kind of like there isn't any kind of bias when it comes to the size of the brewery. Yeah. bigger isn't always better, but essentially people that have a smaller brewery will be a little bit more careful sometimes with what they're putting out, because it might be the difference, because it costs quite a lot to make a single batch of beer.
Yeah, we've had people who said to us that, you know, if people are gonna be interested in you, it's only because you're gonna have a whole core range. You've got to be able to supply a certain, or promise a certain volume. So is that, from your guys' perspective, is that not necessarily the case?
I mean, obviously, for us as a distributor of the Cave Direct side, yeah, I mean, having a beer, for example, like a Rise or Neck Oil or something like that, or House Party, that is the volume product. That's going to get onto people's taps, into people's fridges, and that'll be something that people can drink again and again and again. Obviously, on top of that, they'll make all the specials. You know, having a seasonal product as well as having a core product helps with diversity. Of obviously, hops are constantly changing, the crops are always different, the malt's always different, yeast strains might be stressed, or they might be different as well. So it's kind of helping people adapt and constantly bringing out new stuff as well as that core range as well.
Where are we now?
So this is the other side of the warehouse. Yeah, it's only through a little door, but essentially this is the trade side of Cave Direct Beer Merchants. This is pretty much the keg storeroom essentially. We've got kegs from all over. Obviously we import quite a lot, so this is essentially where they come first before we ship them out to your favourite bottle shop or bar.
I'm not sure we can quite grasp the scale of this. It's awesome. And I mean awesome in as much as it inspires awe.
It pretty much, like, I mean, like, when I first came here, again, I was pretty shocked at how big it was. Obviously, yeah, we've got beers from Dallas and in Brussels to Kona from Hawaii and stuff like that. There's stuff from all over here that's kind of, I never really thought that this would be the opportunity to kind of be at the centre of beer, really, for me. How
many litres of beer are there around us right now?
So in this warehouse there is 2,335 hectolitres just currently sitting here, obviously before that goes and ships out. So essentially there's always a good 200 million litres.
That's 2.5 million litres of beer around here. It's incredible.
Ben, thank you for showing us around. It's absolutely amazing, and we've only stolen 9 or 10 cans on the way around. Absolutely fantastic. Shuffleboard, as we say, is arriving imminently into the warehouse. If people want to get hold of it, there's instructions down below for both how you can buy it directly from beer merchants, and if you are a pub, how you can get hold of some of these glorious kegs. Thank you very much. We'll be back soon with another video.